My name's Gary Seifert. I was a corporal, E4, Marine Corps. My main job after boot camp was I worked on the F-4 Phantom fighter attack jet. I was an jet engine and fuel system mechanic, and that's was my main MOS at the time. In the 4 years.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Why did you decide to join the service?
Because I got a draft notice from the Army, and I didn't want to go in the Army. And I didn't want to go to Canada. But I think basically I was a Marine from the time I was born, because I always had Marine Corps stuff in my room, my bedroom at home when I was a kid. I think I was born to be a Marine, so when the time came, I just went and enlisted. So it wasn't something I wanted to do. It was just something that presented itself. It just happened to be. Had there not been a Vietnam, I probably wouldn't have gone into service. I don't know. There's a lot of variables there. So.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, there's some bad times, but overall, I enjoyed it.
So you're glad you did?
Yeah, I'm glad I did. I wish I'd have stayed in and retired, but things were a little screwy coming out of Nam. You're not. A lot of guys weren't thinking real straight, and I was one of them. And I should have stayed in because the war was about over. I wouldn't have went back, and there really wasn't nothing else going on. I'd have been out with 20 years. I didn't do it.
How long were you in the Marines?
4 years.
What are some of your most memorable stories from being in the Marines?
I know the one big one was May 14th, 69. I was in Nam in 69 and 70. May 14th in 69, they came and got about 30 or 40 of us from the air wing, and that was one of those deals where they take you out and you support the main lines out there. And they had what they called, they didn't have, there was a lot of sand, so you didn't dig foxholes. They built what they called fighting holes with tin over the top of it and then sandbags in front of you. So we would go out and they'd put 3 men or 4 men in each one of those, bring you out at night, and then if there was any attacks coming, if we were attacked, then we were there to back them up. They tried to take you out at night so gooks wouldn't think wouldn't know you were out there, but that's bull. They knew we were there. Trust me, they knew we were out there. You couldn't hide anything from them guys out there. And but it turned out that the May the 14th into May the 15th was my 21st birthday. May 15th. So I'm out there in the perimeter on my birthday, morning of my birthday. And it's about 1, 2 in the morning, and across the road about maybe 3 football fields away from us was a small, I think it was an Army unit. I don't know what they were there for, but we knew they were there. And all of a sudden flares started going off. And we're going, son of a bitch. I mean, all hell broke loose. I mean, there's rifle fire and gunfire. Next thing I know, there's 3 Hueys hovering behind us in the air, dropping flares all around up where we were. Lit us up like a stadium, just like a football stadium during a game. And I'm thinking, you idiots, they can see us. What are you doing? Well, there were gooks everywhere. I mean, they were just trying to sneak in with satchel charges and get to the airplanes and blow up fuel dumps or ammo dumps or airplanes and stuff. Well, all hell broke loose. So we're firing them, they're firing at us. Fortunately, I took a little piece of shrapnel, but we had a couple guys got hit. They weren't killed, but they got hit pretty good. And finally the gooks got fed up, I guess, because I guess we had them outnumbered. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So that lasted about a half an hour, and they seemed to get away. I don't know if they had tunnels, Boot camp was tough. There's no doubt about it. You got up in the morning and you were going all day. You'd run before you'd go eat chow, 3 miles or so. Or they'd have you out there doing squat thrusts. Or, just jumping jacks and squat thrusts, if you know what those are.
Yeah.
And you do that for maybe an hour or 2 hours, I think, before you went to chow. So they got you rolling. I can't say any of that was fun. I mean, it was, like I said, and I played sports, so I knew, and this was
A lot different.
yeah, buddy. It was old.
How do you think your time in the military changed you, if at all?
Oh, I think I became more jaded about things. Looking at the government in a different way, because it's a known fact that government screwed up Vietnam, screwed up Korea. The politicians really screwed it up. We wouldn't have been there nearly as long as we were, and that's probably a big thing. For a while, I had a rough time adapting back to civilian life. Because of Nam. Not so much the military, but the Vietnam experience. So that took a while. And back in my day, they didn't have what's called PTSD. You've heard of that. They didn't have that then. That didn't come out. They didn't come up with that terminology until about 80 or 82. So you were just kind of on your own. VA didn't do a lot. Unless you were really whacked out, and then they'd lock you in a room somewhere. But it was just tough adjusting, and people didn't like you, and you didn't know whether to talk about it. And then when the people would ask you things, all they wanted to know was how many you killed. They didn't want to know how you felt about it. They just wanted to know. So it was kind of tough to deal with it emotionally.
Yeah.
But gradually, I worked through it, and people started treating us different.